Welcome back from that break. And in August 2022, Kenya's annual inflation rate increased for the 6th month in a row from 8.5 to 8.6, but still higher above the top of Kenya's central bank target range. William Ruto is anticipated to carry out one of the main points of his platform and raise the standard of life within the 100 days as president. We discuss how East Africa might prepare for economic shocks in light of the significant economy or volatility of the region's largest economy. Fred Makubia is live with East Africa's best person to get to know about the details of this.
Well, it's a pleasure and thank you for joining us on this coffee court. I know it's a Friday where many people are going to happen. Our vision as a business channel is to drive your business. And welcome to this coffee court. Like we say, we drive your business, and this is where we ask the critical questions, especially questions that touch matters of economy. We are here to digest the post-election when it comes to our sister country called Kenya. We understand that it's one of the countries that make up the East African community. Now, the stability of Kenya does not only have an impact on Kenya itself as a nation, but it also has an impact on the other East African countries. So what impact does the stability of Kenya make to Uganda? That stems our discussion. Dr. Clark Chisembo joins us. He's the founder of the Development Associate Link. Of course, he's here to weigh on us what this means on the economy of Uganda. Dr. Clark, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, sir, and a very good evening. You're welcome to our area. Yes, and happy to be here on Smart 24 television once again to share views and also insights on the region and also the economics post-election in Kenya.
Okay. The last time we had a discussion, Kenya was going through an election. Did your prediction ever come to pass?
Yes, I would say that the prediction came to pass. Because you remember very well that prior to the election, there are three key issues that I raised. One was that there is going to be a slow and economic downtime, which will most likely affect the population of the East African community, considering that trade will be low, trade and commerce will be low in Kenya, with much focus on the elections. And with this being low, which means that all goods that are coming through the port of Mombasa towards Uganda, Rwanda, DRC, Burundi, all have a downtime. And then also I said that the elections in Kenya, if Kenya learned a lesson, it should have been in 2007 going 2008. And I also shared that there is every message of peace and unity. Kenya is going to remain, the people are going to remain, and politics is more about getting who will drive the bus or lead into the next couple of years, but also look at unifying those who have lost. Once, the technicalities of democratic processes is that winner takes all. Okay. 51%, you're taking all. But remember, there is a 49% population who voted alternatively, not for you, but also what about the population which did not turn up at the polling station? Where are they left? So any leader would think of one, unifying the nation as a first step. I've heard when the Supreme Court, upheld the results, confirming His Excellency Ruto as the president. When the judge was reading out the judgment, immediately President Ruto called for peace, unity, integration of all other parties and the readiness to work with all those who are on the opposition and not vindicate them.
Okay.
That was a very huge statement from an incoming head of nation, because in other nations we've known that the winner starts to be offensive and throw abuses towards the other group.
Which is not the case now.
Which in Kenya is not the case. In Kenya is not the case, and it's a big lesson for countries like Uganda, our country, that peaceful transition of power can happen. At the courts of law, where this judgment was being passed after the election on whether there were anomalies during the election process, you couldn't see the army there. The police were more of calm, and there were no tensions. You could even feel it in the courtroom. But also in the communities, people, both the opposition and the pro supporters, you would feel in the communities that they are waiting and they are ready to accept what the judgment comes. That's the supremacy and independence of the judiciary to decide.
No, that's a legal matter now. It's a matter of legality.
Yes.
Let's now digest it from the economic perspective. As a PhD holder,
yes,
your lenses must be different from the rest of how other politicians view it. How does this connect to the economics of Uganda?
The way it connects to the economics of Uganda, and I'll say that not only am I an economist, but I'm a financial economist and a development finance practitioner. So I look at it in two ways: the micro, meso, and macro economics. The case of Uganda, you realize that whenever there is an election, there is bound to be, and I hope it never happens again, tendencies of violence, tendencies of...
I thought we are past that now. It seems to be a stable environment, Doctor.
A stable environment post an election.
Oh, yes.
Is, of course, people have come to terms and they want to continue with life. But reality is what could have happened before that. But let's not dwell a lot on that. Let's dwell on the economics. When Kenya was undergoing the election time, you find that inflation rose, prices rose. Once price of fuel rises, there was a lot of excuses around the issue of the Ukraine war and the downtime on that. There is so much demand for the oil and gas, the petrochemicals. That's bring the prices up. But reality be told, there were ships docked in Mombasa.
But the prices were that high even before we went into this election. You want to subscribe to a school of thought that says the inflation is as a result of what took place in Kenya, Doctor?
Because of anticipation. When anticipation happens, anxiety, there is normally a tendency of holding back for uncertainty. What happens if 2007 happens again in Kenya? Of course, we didn't expect that to happen again in Kenya, like I said in the last interview, because Kenyans must have learned. They have matured politically, and because they know the effect and impact of an election to the socio-economic situation of nationals of that country. One is that business could be low. 2, prices go high. 3, industries may stop for a certain period. Then 5, people run jobless. And then what happens when you assume power as a president in such a situation? You're going to first have to firefight and solve these issues of economic recovery, and more so amidst the COVID times, unprecedented times, and also the economic downtime due to lockdowns, which were very long. Of course, with the Kenya elections, it had an effect on that because of uncertainties, of hoarding, but also people are in anticipation, anxiety, what will happen? Okay. So they hoard. When you hoard, prices go high. But when all is done, then you release the goods, because now the free trade area is going to continue. Goods are beginning to move. I was speaking to some people at the border points in Malaba and Busia, and they said, we are zooming.
So let's now open our eyes to beyond Uganda, beyond Kenya, beyond Rwanda, and expound it on matters of the East African community. Do other countries have to jubilate because Kenya is a stable country? I'm talking about matters of the East African community.
As far as matters of the East African community, Kenya has raised the bar too high for all the East African countries to emulate. That multipartyism has a correlation with economics, what we call the political economy. And why it has raised the bar so high is that an election was held, people voted. When it was contested, it went through the judiciary, the legal matters, and now it is done. That is a process which many countries in the East African community have to learn from. You've seen what happened. DRC is part of us now.
It is.
But assuming the presidential seat, even the current president, His Excellency Tshisekedi, they had to be an extension of the former President Kabila, Jose Kabila, to serve some period such that they are really ready and sure that they should go into the election. So you see that uncertainty of having to extend. A president's term is done, but you have to extend. So they've learned a lot. Southern Sudan is part of us. They should start rethinking and reimagining all these ethnic and tribal clashes and perspectives, because a country is one. These divisions, as far as tribe ethnicity is concerned, should not affect the entirety of a country. Burundi, also a lot to learn from what's happening, and Rwanda too. I know Tanzania, you'll say that no, but Tanzania has been stable.
Of course, that's exactly what I would say.
Yeah, I would say that Tanzania has been stable, but stable under a single party with succession. Okay. Chama cha Mapinduzi has been in power since the times of His Excellency, the late President Nyerere, which means that there is a grooming process, which is political maturity. But what about the other parties that also stand? So there's a very strong party. The beauty of it is that it can call upon its chairman and say, you've gone wrong here, you need to correct here.
So maybe that's another area of engagement. So do we expect now prices? Kenya is a pathway for most of the goods that come into Uganda as a country.
Yeah.
Does that dictate the fact that we might see maybe prices of commodities going down? Sugar, as I talk right now, a 50 sack of sugar has raised from 165 to 190, and some sell them at about 200,000. Yeah. So does this stability translate into prices of commodities lowering down?
Yes, I think Ugandans should start seeing results out of that the Kenyan election. That with trade and commerce beginning to stabilize, the movement, activity in Kenya the docking point in Mombasa is now opened, then goods start moving, we should expect that prices should start coming down, not drastically, but gradually, and that should also apply to other countries in the East African community. But yeah, so it's good news that now the economies are going to open up to normality. And also, you know, once the prices of oil and gas fuel go high, everything is going to go high. But also production should increase, even the drive towards industrialization for East Africa, where there was uncertainty, should we produce? Where are we going to sell? The population of Kenya is way beyond, almost coming to 60 million.
And Uganda is roughly about 40, 42, 43
Yeah, roughly
million.
about that. But a 60 million population is a key driver in an economy. But also, Mr. Makubia, never forget that Kenya is a very advanced economy compared to all the rest of the East African community countries. Tanzania had to transition from socialism to now a more private sector led.
Okay.
And it's just in recent years. Uganda has had a tumultuous history. War after war, each regime seems to come in after a war. Whenever a war happens, destruction, economy is taken back. Kenya has been consistent amidst the dynamics of its politics. And so has been the economy of Kenya growing. But also its past history has focused on commercial production for export other than relying on domestic consumption and import. That's why all other countries are purposed for export, import, substitution, including our country, Uganda.
Doctor, in your preamble, as we plan to close, you talked about inflation, which could have been sparked off as a result, of course, the external factors. Bank of Uganda has increased the CBR, central bank rate. Yeah. It began from 6, it went to 8.5, now it is at 9. And government is saying there's a lot of money in circulation. So you alluded to the fact that it could have been as a result of all these other external factors. Is that so?
So when there is scarcity of goods, in the marketplace, goods and services, but consumerism is high, that is not a good sign for a country.
Are you saying we don't have a lot
because
on the market?
At some point we were, remember that we came from a COVID situation, Uganda being one of the countries that had the longest lockdown in the whole world. Recovering from that situation and then now going into the uncertainties of a coming election at a very influential neighboring country
like Kenya.
We were in that in that midst. So what I'm trying to say is that whether the CBR rate has gone high to curb revenues, one fact remains, that the money that the CBR is trying to curb is in the hands of like 5%. The 85% are those, normally we say, informal sector, or India. GDP should never lie or confuse people. Because if I'm earning 50 million and somebody is earning 50,000 a year, they join all our incomes divided by the nation's population, multiplied by 100 to get the percentage. Does it mean that the one earning 50,000 or 10,000 is also well off as a 50 million Uganda shilling earner? No.
Maybe it's another question we can find some other time to ponder on. Your parting shot as we close this coffee court, Doctor.
My parting shot is to call upon Ugandans that wake up, don't keep in self-pity. We should work hard to get towards increasing the middle income status, raising to that, but also for the informal sector, let them formalize such that the tax base on which we are dependent mostly now can be spread out, and then it comes down. Once it's spread out among as many, then the taxes will lower and everybody will see economic transformation and thriving of Uganda. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Clark Kisembo. Of course, that is it from the expert. Doctor says we must be different and work different. I like one of the philosophers says that the classical definition of madness is you expecting different results, but you keep on doing the same things over and over a time. So if we are going to become a better country, of course, we better change the way we do things. Over to you to plot 42 Nile Avenue for Business Today.
Great insight from Fred Makubi and Dr. Clark Kisembo. We now know that we can rely on the stability in Kenya to be able to boost the trade, the Kenya-Ugandan trade and the East African community at large. Business Today ends here, and be sure to catch us next time. We are live at Smart24 TV on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. My name is Rana Nahabo with Winnie Wiiza Nakauchi on the sign language. Good night.